Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to another episode in our featured partner series of Citrix Ready podcasts, where we talk about key technology integrations that Citrix has with its partners. And on this podcast, I invite guests from Citrix and their partners to spend a little time with me and teach both myself and our listeners in 165 different countries a little more about how they're solving real-world problems for businesses, not on their own, but by uniting together and collaborating. So, as many of you listening will already know, I'm passionate about the role of technology in business and how it is increasingly being seen as an enabler across multiple industries. But I want to highlight real-life stories and help other business leaders listening understand that they too can transform their business and leverage opportunities that technology can offer. Now, in today's episode, we're going to speak with a company called NComputing, Stratodesk, and their long history with Citrix, and learn much more about how they form this alliance to bring truly differentiated solutions to the market. I'm also looking forward to learning more about why and when they picked the Raspberry Pi platform to enhance their thin client portfolio. But hey, I don't want to reveal too much now, so I invite you to come and join me in a conversation with the guys at Citrix, Stratodesk and NComputing. So let's get them on the show right now. A massive warm welcome to the show, guys. Can you just tell the listeners a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name is Richard Sa. I'm the CTO of NComputing. I'm responsible for the overall product direction, R&D, and partnerships. Also, I'm actively involved in the Citrix Workspace Hub project, which we'll spend some time to talk about it today.
And Neil, thank you so much for your time. My name is Hernan Contreras. I am the VP of Sales for Stratodesk. And Stratodesk is a Linux-based operating system that runs on the Workspace Hub, obviously, with a three-way partnership between Citrix, NComputing, and Stratodesk. Stratodesk is the software that helps create the operating system that runs Workspace Hub. And we've been doing this for several years, beginning in 2011. And we love the fact that we are a flexible and scalable partner to the Citrix Workspace program, allowing the flexibility of our operating system to do what's needed by the customers, to allow choice for the customers to make business decisions that's best for them.
Yeah, good morning, Neil, and good morning to your audience. My name is Roger Kell, and I am part of Citrix's Emerging Solutions technology group. So you can kind of think of us as the labs and innovation team around the Citrix Workspace Hub. So, I've been involved with endpoint designs for a very long time. And while hardware changes, software has changed little in the 15 years that I've been around this type of project. It starts very much as a antiquated hardware plus embedded OS plus Citrix receiver, and that equates to a thin client. But the value so far has derived from non-moving parts, a hardened OS, and a purpose-built manageability. Don't get me wrong, this is important for the total cost of ownership equation. However, what it fails to do is it fails to address user experience. And so one of the things that our team wanted to do was build a better endpoint. And for this, Citrix needed leaders like Stratodesk and NComputing in their respective markets to come and help us. So with this well-oiled machine focused on user experience, we combine workflow automation, a Linux operating system, manageability, the expertise, and the go-to-market abilities of our group to bring the Citrix Ready Workspace Hub to market to address solution gaps and daily challenges alike.
And good morning, Neil. Thank you. I'm Rich Severson. I'm the Global Solutions Engineer at Stratodesk, and my focus on this is to help deliver the enterprise manageability to the Workspace Hub ecosystem. Obviously, there's a lot of discussions about the capabilities of the Pi Hub and how to make it enterprise, and of course, the expertise of the Stratodesk software and making it truly enterprise manageable for the entire ecosystem.
Thanks so much, guys. And one of the things I love exploring on this podcast, and one of the reasons I'm excited to get you all on here on one call, is learning more about a business's backstory and how they got where they are today, and partnerships formed in the tech industry that actually go on to solve real world problems for businesses. So just to begin with, can I ask that you share NComputing's long history with Citrix and maybe the story behind that?
Sure. Our collaboration with Citrix dated back in 2012, so almost 7 years ago, where NComputing developed the first ever ARM-based SoC Linux thin client fully optimized for Citrix, making the solution even more affordable. Since then, we have developed several thin clients also optimized for Citrix HDX. So based on our history of collaboration with Citrix, they approached NComputing in 2017 to embark on a new journey as one of the lead partners for the Workspace Hub initiative. The goal for the program is to deliver a disruptive endpoint IoT solution, specifically designed and optimized for Citrix for the enterprise market.
So one thing that I'd like to add from the Stratodesk perspective is that it is a cohesive solution between the best of breed solutions. So NComputing coming along, bringing the hardware that they've been doing for years, Stratodesk providing the endpoint operating system that we've been doing for years, and then obviously Citrix providing the magic that brings all of us together to create a solution that's best for the end customer, allowing the best of breed from all three of us together into one team to create what is best for our clients.
So NComputing also has extensive expertise in developing and delivering thin client solutions. But I am conscious some people listening will be hearing about you guys for the first time. So could I also ask you share a little background on that expertise and that reputation that you've built?
NComputing was founded a long time ago, about 15 years ago, back in 2003. We have a singular focus to provide easy-to-use, high-performance, and low-cost computing solution. And this is what we do. This is in our DNA. We have a lot of experience developing ARM-based Linux thin client to provide high-performance, value-driven solutions. We also have a lot of expertise in manufacturing, software development for endpoints. We do a lot of worldwide commercial certifications to make sure those devices can be deployed worldwide. Customer support, distributions to address the Citrix ecosystem. So far, we have shipped roughly more than 5 million devices across 150 different countries, servicing many different verticals like education, healthcare, government, and other enterprise markets. We're also one of the first vendors to commercially develop and market the Raspberry Pi 3-based thin client since 2017.
And I'm glad you mentioned Raspberry Pi there. And that's something that when I was researching you really stood out for me. So can I ask that you tell me a little bit more about why you picked the Raspberry Pi platform to enhance your thin client portfolio?
Yeah, this is an excellent question. So our vision overall is to deliver really easy to use, powerful, and centrally managed computing solution that are even more affordable. So before Raspberry Pi is available, we used to make our own custom ARM SoC products, thin client, to provide the best price performance. However, time to market is quite long. As you know, developing a silicon solution is quite extensive and requires extensive R&D investment. So the Raspberry Pi single board computer become very popular, and primarily due to its portable size, the versatility, and also its economic viability. It gained a lot of traction initially in the DIY market, but also over time, it has established itself as a robust and reliable device that is becoming more viable within an enterprise setting. So using our thin client expertise, we address the gaps, basically make it into enterprise ready from the security protection standpoint, thermal cooling, commercial casing design, optimize the hardware, the software stacks, which include our partnership with Stratodesk, and also all the necessary commercial certification so customer can be purchased worldwide. And we made this into a perfect thin client. Our R&D development on Raspberry Pi 3 actually dated back in 2016. And we were the first vendor to commercially launch an endpoint solution based on Raspberry Pi 3 in 2017.
And a question I've got to ask, of course, is how do you make the Raspberry Pi enterprise grade? Were there any challenges there?
Yeah, so I think, as I mentioned earlier, Raspberry Pi 3 is a wonderful platform. It started as a DIY, and we have to address the gaps to make it commercial ready. From NComputing's perspective, there are several key areas to make this commercially viable solution. From the security protection standpoint, as you know, the Pi has a micro SD card, so we have to design the chassis to securely protect the micro SD card so it's not easily accessed. Thermal cooling is very important. The size of the Pi solution is the size of a credit card. So we have to design a special chassis with proper cooling so that it can be 100% reliable in the commercial settings. Also, software stacks is very important. We decided to partner with Stratodesk. They have a lot of experience in providing the enterprise-grade management solution. Last but not least, another really important aspect is the commercial certification of the thin client based on Raspberry Pi. Customers will not buy the solution off the market. They need to buy product that is fully certified to ensure there's no electronic interference and make sure it's safe to deploy in their environment.
And I want to add to what Richard just said, and I'm so glad that Richard mentioned security because of the thought that NComputing obviously put into security from a hardware perspective. We too, as Stratodesk, do the same thing. We're very security conscious and always aiming to improve and make the security, the hardness of the operating system better and better as we go on. And our operating system being a Linux-based OS, it's just a key point to say it's our own distro. We're often asked, is this based on Ubuntu? Is it Red Hat, SUSE, all these different flavors of Linux? The answer from the operating system perspective is no, it is our own distro. So that in and of itself makes a more secure, hardened endpoint operating system that increases the security in addition to what the hardware is being created by NComputing. So together, we are taking our own expertise and knowledge of what we do, hardware and software, and adding the best understanding, the best expertise, our best practices to continually create a more secure environment for Citrix VDI users. In addition to that, as far as the enterprise management, I may be a little biased when I say this, but I think that the manageability of the Workspace Hub is what makes a huge difference. This was a game changer. This is taking the Raspberry Pi platform into the major leagues. And this is truly the disruption in the VDI marketplace. Because once you have provided a very secure endpoint and one that is easily be managed from soup to nuts with the combination of the NComputing hardware and our Stratodesk operating system, this creates an extremely solid and very dependable solution for Citrix VDI users.
From a Citrix standpoint, the Raspberry Pi for us represents many opportunities. Not only does it give us the opportunity to address and build something that delights user experience, but let me phrase a question for you. Did you know that more than 17 million Raspberry Pis have been sold as of 2019? This makes the Raspberry Pi the third best selling general purpose computer of all time. In fact, it's one of our brilliant engineers based in the UK that was such a fan that he started playing with it and he built a codec to leverage the GPU to accelerate Citrix HDX. Citrix HDX is the backbone, the protocol that allows us to deliver a seamless desktop experience from the cloud down to the endpoint. And so when you take a look at the availability of the Raspberry Pi, the low-cost point of the Raspberry Pi, and the optimized code that we wrote to leverage the Raspberry Pi, you've got an endpoint that delivers low cost, high performance in such a way that nobody else has been able to achieve. And so in order to take this beyond just a simple low cost, general purpose thin client device, we wanted to deliver this that in such a way that it was ready for our customers. And so our customers represent several different markets, whether they be small, medium business, whether they be large companies or even enterprise companies. They all demand the same quality, the same security, the same performance. And so that's where enterprise grade becomes absolutely critical, right? And the things that we've invested in this platform that nobody else has been able to achieve is delivering, again, high performance graphics onto a very low cost board. In fact, we've delivered engineering quality grade graphics as high as 1080p, 60 frames per second onto this platform. We've delivered an innovative, cost-effective dual display solution in partnership with both Stratodesk and NComputing in a way that nobody else in this market has been able to achieve. Something that's very critical within any back office productivity or enterprise environment is collaboration, right? We as humans are socially and collaborative in nature. And something that symbolizes that we all recognize is Microsoft Skype for Business. So by an extension of that, Citrix developed, optimized, and delivered RTME, its real-time media engine, optimized for Skype for Business onto the platform. So these are just a few things that we've done to turn the Raspberry Pi into an enterprise-grade product. But I would venture to say, look forward to many more fantastic innovations and opportunities from our joint partnership.
And listening to everybody talk there, it's fantastic to hear about these game-changing elements for the Workspace Hub and the kind of transformative qualities that it's bringing to your customers. But for those customers and for business leaders listening all over the world, how does it relate to the customer's existing deployments? And what is that migration path like towards the Workspace Hub?
No, excellent question. Thanks for asking that, Neil. Stratodesk, as the operating system for this solution, we actually began in the market as an x86 operating system to be able to repurpose existing equipment. So it seems to be a natural transition that now we were tapped to create an operating system for Raspberry Pi for Workspace Hub specifically. And that in and of itself, again, has been the game-changing element that I believe that we've added to this strong strategic partnership between NComputing, Citrix, and Stratodesk. So there is different ways, again, flexibility and scalability to allow end customers to be able to make the transition into Workspace Hub. So in the combination of Stratodesk offering an OS for x86 and Pi, we've also changed and disrupted the marketplace by being able to have the only solution available that provides manageability for x86 and the Workspace Hub from one central management console. So if you can imagine the possibilities that are available for all of our clients, it gives them the ability to make the choices, to make financial decisions that make the best sense for each and every organization. It's not a one size fits all. It is a one size fits all for everyone to be able to either transition, to get into Stratodesk with management, with x86 and Raspberry Pi, all Raspberry Pi with the Workspace Hub, or a combination of both. And the fact that we allow and enable our end customers to be able to make these choices and to make all of us better. It's always continuing to push NComputing to make a stronger, more dedicated endpoint solution for VDI, for Stratodesk then to provide the operating system to support NComputing, and the two of us then to support Citrix. And for Citrix to always be pushing the envelope of what they're going to do for their VDI end customers within Workspace Hub, and that we come alongside and create this unified front and this extremely pioneering ecosystem for VDI customers.
And Hernan, I'd like to add to that, and that is, being that we can do the x86, it's important to note that we can also do other, if you will, thin client devices, because a lot of customers want to go down the road of choosing the Raspberry Pi now that it's enterprise ready, but then they're stuck in a situation where they have to have manageability for, either their x86 devices or other thin client vendors. And then they have to have a solution for the Raspberry Pi. The advantage of Stratodesk is the fact that we can do the x86, we can do other thin clients, and we can do the Raspberry Pi, which gives us the ability uniquely to be able to manage all devices that can take advantage of, the features of the Skype for Business for the Raspberry Pi, the enterprise capability, and the delivery of the Citrix platforms.
And Rich, from an NComputing standpoint, we have also been doing a lot of different POCs based on the Workspace Hub. I think one common feedback is the cohesive solution that we are able to provide in conjunction with Stratodesk, which is the no-touch device management solution. As Hernan mentioned earlier, we provide the option for customers to migrate from their existing, for example, fat clients, aging PCs, to the Workspace Hub solution at their own pace. Once they're on board based on the no-touch device management solution, now they have a cohesive IT strategy to streamline all the management and deployment using the same solution. And this is a very powerful value proposition for the enterprise customers.
So as a leading partner to the Citrix Workspace Hub program, can you possibly share a few success stories in customers adopting that Citrix Workspace Hub solution, and maybe highlight some of their challenges and how these solutions are actually benefiting them in the real world?
Since Workspace Hub was initially launched at Citrix Synergy May last year, the Workspace Hub gained a lot of customer attractions in various verticals, including higher education, healthcare, financial services, and manufacturing. Since EDUCAUSE, which is a higher education show, is coming up, I will focus on the recent case study which we have done using the Workspace Hub solution to accelerate the digital transformation of higher education. So the customer here is the University of Law based in London. There are a renowned university with over 8,000 students and 700 faculty and staff members. They have multiple physical locations with a variety of learning environments. They are facing with some key challenges. The IT department had to renew university's diverse range of endpoint, which mostly consisted of aging PCs. There were also some tough to meet requirements, such as simplifying IT complexity and management, improving the workspace delivery to students securely and remotely, and also with an increased focus on security and privacy, and while doing everything within budget and limited support resources. So after they have done an extensive POC, proof of concept, to evaluate different solutions, University of Law decided to adopt the Workspace Hub solution by NComputing. From the infrastructure standpoint, they converted to a Citrix infrastructure and deliver the Citrix virtual apps and virtual desktops with the Workspace Hub solution. They have also replaced about over 1,200 aging PCs with NComputing Workspace Hub devices. They also use the Stratodesk No Touch Center to streamline their deployment and management of the Workspace Hub solutions. University of Law, they benefit from the solution in different ways. One, they reduce cost. They were able to lower the capital expenditure by modernizing their IT infrastructure. Rather than purchasing the expensive fat client or PC laptops, they deploy affordable Workspace Hub solution while meeting and exceeding the functionality requirements. They have also streamlined the IT management and deployment based on the No Touch Center central management solution. For example, the Workspace Hub can be easily deployed to different groups, different locations with different policy settings. All can be provisioned centrally from a browser by the admin. In addition, the university has some pretty aggressive carbon footprint reductions. This little Workspace Hub endpoint device only consumes 5 watts of maximum power. So they were able to save tons of energy and lower their carbon footprint. In addition, they're very excited with the Citrix casting feature, something that Citrix spent a lot of time to provide potential new use cases. And for them, they believe this is a future-proof product to provide potential new use cases for future expandability. And so we have many other customer use cases based on Workspace Hub. But based on the Workspace Hub solution, we were able to help them accelerate the digital transformation for their campuses.
Now, I also read that you'll be showcasing the device at EDUCAUSE I think it's on October the 14th. So can you elaborate on how this is going to help address challenges for the education vertical too?
NComputing will be exhibiting at the Citrix Pavilion in the EDUCAUSE show on both October 15th and 16th. We will showcase the Workspace Hub solution, and the attendees can learn how to give students easy access to their workspace securely and remotely using the Workspace Hub solution. They can also learn how to simplify IT by centralizing management and eliminate downtime with No Touch Center. They can also learn how to enable future expandability using Citrix casting and other IoT work automations. So we're very excited to be there.
So looking to the future, can you offer maybe a sneak peek or a teaser of what's to come related to NComputing's Workspace Hub solution? Is there anything else you can share on that?
Sure. Neil, as you may be aware, Raspberry Pi 4 was recently released with a major boost in performance, speed, and also comes with a native dual display. We have been working very closely on this Pi 4 solution with Citrix and Stratodesk for some time. And at EDUCAUSE, the attendees will get a sneak peek of the highly anticipated Pi 4 solution as an addition to the upcoming Citrix Workspace Hub ecosystem.
So everyone in the conversation today is making a difference with tech at companies that are successful in their own right. But having listened to you all today, what really excites me is what happens when you pool resources and work together with a unified front. So before I let you all go, could you just talk a little bit about how all this joins together and how you've created this alliance that brings a truly differentiated solution to the market? Because I think it's fantastic what you've all created here.
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you, Neil, and especially thank you to your audience for giving us this opportunity to really share the excitement and the innovations that we're bringing to market. I'd like to close it with no leader in history has ever gained ground without partnerships. And in the same sense, no partnership has ever gained traction without a leader. Here at Citrix, we're inspired by how customers use our products. And from that optic, we look for opportunities to address challenges and improve solutions. The Citrix Ready Workspace Hub started as an idea and brought to life by an ecosystem. An alliance of partners having domain of expertise in their respective areas. Here at Citrix, we're focused on security, choice, and performance.
And just to add onto Roger's point, this Workspace Hub is a true collaboration among the three different parties. From our perspective, Citrix really bringing the vision of Workspace Hub and also providing different features and services to make it really stand out from just being an endpoint device. NComputing, where we come in, we bring the expertise in manufacturing, support, marketing, and delivery of the total solution to our customers. Also, we have close strategic technical partnership with Stratodesk to make this happen in the enterprise setting.
And to continue on with what Roger said, which I love, let's continue beating this drum: security, choice, and performance. And again, having this strategic alliance between the three of us, hardware, software, and VDI, what an excellent opportunity it gives clients in VDI to make choices, to do what makes the most sense for them. You are no longer locked in to having to do things the way they used to be. And you can now disrupt and do things differently. If you can't tell how excited we are about this, let me tell you, this is truly exciting. And Stratodesk is so happy and honored to be a part of this three-way alliance with NComputing, with Citrix, and ourselves. And we believe that where the future is going, we are going with it. And may I be bold to say, we're helping lead the way for VDI moving forward.
And what, having spoken with you all today, what really strikes me is something I always say at the end of every episode is technology works best when it brings people together. So I love how you've been inspired by how customers use all your products, but then form this strategic alliance of collaboration between Citrix, Stratodesk, and NComputing. And it really is a huge step forward in the name of progress. And we're not just competing against each other, but working together to solve businesses' problems. And that's something that excites me as well, and such a big step forward. So a big thank you to each and every one of you for coming on, taking the time out of your busy day and showcasing that vision so that everybody can see that. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil, and thank you again to your audience.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
What a great episode. And I must admit, I was intrigued by how they're using Raspberry Pi to enhance their thin client portfolio. And I also love chatting with the guys, and great to see the role that technology played today in getting three companies and me on one call, scattered in various locations throughout the world, and then beam that conversation to 165 countries. Man, it's a great time to be alive, isn't it? And remember, if anyone is heading out to the EDUCAUSE annual conference on, I think it's October the 14th to the 17th, over in Chicago, remember to pop by booth 1817 and say Neil sent you. There's so many big takeaways from today's conversation for me, such as how Citrix, Stratodesk and NComputing came together and create this alliance to bring truly differentiated solutions to the market. And also, as leading partners to the Citrix Workspace Hub program, it was great to hear a few success stories in customers that are adopting this Citrix Workspace Hub solution, but also learned about their challenges and how the solution can actually benefit them and their business. But that's me. What did you enjoy from today's conversation? You can find links to each of today's guests over on the blog post that will accompany this podcast episode on my website, which is techblogwriter.co.uk. But I want to hear your thoughts, your insights, your expertise, and those big questions that you've got in your head after listening to that conversation. So you can email me directly at techblogwriter@outlook.com, or you can tweet me at Neil C. Hughes. So keep those messages coming in, and a big thank you from me for tuning in and listening to this podcast. But it's time for me to go. So until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.